So what is knitr? So knitr is this tool that I'm going to talk about that can help you make these reproducible documents. knitr is an R package. It's written by Ihoi Xie while he was a grad student at Iowa State. It's available on CRAN. If you happen to use the package RStudio, it's actually built into RStudio, and so it's integrated into the graphical user interface. And so you don't even have to obtain it separately if you're using RStudio. So it supports, for the documentation language, it supports something called R Markdown. It also supports LaTeX and HTML. So these are three languages that are commonly used. And then it can export to PDF and HTML, and you can also export to other formats if you're using other external tools like Pandoc. It's built right into RStudio for your convenience, as I just mentioned. So what do you need to use knitr? You need a recent version of R, you need a text editor. You can use the one that comes with RStudio if you happen to be using that. Otherwise, any old text editor will do. You need some support packages that are available from CRAN. These will be automatically downloaded if you use the install.packages function. You need some knowledge of one of the three documentation languages, so you need to know Markdown, LaTeX, or HTML. And I'll talk about Markdown here, since it's a fairly simple language to understand. So what is Markdown? Well, it's a simplified version of common markup languages. So LaTeX and HTML can be thought of as markup languages, where you take regular text and you kind of add things to add tags and other types of annotation to kind of indicate what you want to do with the text. One problem with markup languages is that they can be kind of like they can be very difficult to read because there's all this kind of tags and things that can obscure the actual text. So the purpose of Markdown is to kind of simplify all that and make it easy to read just the text and only have a few kind of formatting elements that you need to enter into the document. There's no special editor required. You use a standard text editor, Notepad, whatever you want to use. There are simple, intuitive formatting elements, and you can get all the documentation at this website here. So what is knitr good for in terms of creating reproducible documents? Well, personally, I think it's good for things like manuals. If you want to instruct someone on how to use a piece of software, a short or medium length technical documents, so you're explaining some technical concept, tutorials, so if you want to, again, this is like a manual but maybe more extended, a tutorial on some topic. Reports, they're especially useful for reports if you have to, for example, every week generate a report on some database or some data set. If you're running a study and you have subjects that are constantly being enrolled in the study, then maybe every week you generate a report it has summary statistics about the study. Then these kinds of live documents are very useful because you can recalculate all the summary statistics as you generate the document. You don't have to do it by hand and then stick it into a report separately. And then also for data pre-processing, so often it's useful if you're going to pre-process a data set to create a clean data set, to create a knitr type document where that documents all of the things that you do to the data set to make it clean. Maybe you remove some outliers, maybe you fill in some missing data, maybe you transform a variable here and there. All of that can be documented in this kind of knitr style where you simultaneously say what you did and then you actually do it in the code. What is knitr not good for? Well, in my opinion, it's not very good for very long research articles. So if you're writing a very complex, very involved analysis, like I said before, because everything is stored in a single document, it can get a little bit confusing to kind of edit this document if there's a lot of code and a lot of text. If you have very complex or time-consuming computations, then knitr is often not a good format because you have to recompile this document every time you want to look at it. And so if your computations are very slow, this will just kind of make everything slow. And furthermore, if you have a document, if you want to create a document that requires very precise formatting, so if you have a special layout and the pictures have to go here and the text has to go here or something like that, knitr is again not a super great tool for that because the formatting tends to be very ad hoc.